Breaking, there's a Durag Benny sighting.
I'm back and in full effect, team. What's good? I said you overheating over here, bro. You out here overheating. This dude
You already busting a sweat,
I
bro.
ain't already sweating, bro. What you sweating for? Come on, so cool off,
They're
bro.
trying to keep up with NBA news, man. That's why. Just so many reactions, so many emotions. Welcome to
man.
Dummies on the Hardwood. We got
Durag Benny.
and we got Bobby over here, a sensible one. That I don't know, man, over here.
Hey, I don't know. If you guys listened to last week's episode, this dude clearly interrupted me before I could finish my statement.
Well, maybe when you cut, you should come to the episodes prepared.
I do come prepared.
No,
but
you didn't.
You guys
You
just
did.
come
I
and
don't
interrupted
know,
me.
and being cut off is a sensible answer. Anyways, let's not get into that. We got a lot to talk about, boys. We had the
A whole lot to talk about. This is
So we
been
had
an
the
interesting
NBA
week.
draft recently. The Mavericks did not screw this up. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
I was thinking they was going to trade the pick.
I was waiting for it. I was
Imagine they
terrified.
traded the pick. I can see Dallas doing some stupid stuff like that.
Anyways, Cooper Flag went number 1. We all knew that was happening. But what was interesting, once you got past the first 2 picks, there was a lot of fluctuation.
There's some
Wouldn't you
head
guys say?
scratchers. There's some head
I
scratchers.
mean, what do you guys think of the Sixers getting VJ Edgecombe? I think it's a good move.
I think
it's a good move.
I think it's a great move, man.
It's a good move. I just don't know what direction the Sixers are going.
well, I mean,
They're-
I mean, because you have Joel Embiid and you have Paul George, who are past their primes.
They're trying to do the 2 timeline, which
and it's not going to work.
very rarely works. Very rarely works.
And that's my point. It's not going to work. You're going to have to pick a direction. Are you going to trade Paul George? Or are you going to trade Joel Embiid?
You can't trade either of them. They're both injury prone.
Right. And so
Yes,
and so the
there's no
Sixers
value.
have their hands behind their back. I mean, I like the pick. I just don't know the direction of where Philly's going.
I really like this dude, VJ Edgecombe. Really
I do
good
too.
defender, explosive scorer. And I think he's going to complement well. This is probably PG's replacement if this pick pans out to be good with VJ Edgecombe.
We just, like Bobby said, we need a direction because Joel Embiid's on the wrong side of 30. Paul George is on the wrong side of 30. They got Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey. Probably the cornerstone right now.
But also, too, let's not forget, Joel Embiid in his knee situation, he might not even play up to past next year. We got to keep that in mind. He might even play next year.
And that's the point. It's like Philly needs to pick a direction. If I'm Philly right now, I'm listening to offers for Paul George. Because right now, Paul George is your best trade piece.
But he's got no value.
he's your best trade
He's got
piece.
no value. You might as well attach the first round pick with him. I'm just saying.
mean,
nobody's gonna want Paul George straight up.
It's Paul George.
You want to know the last time Joel Embiid played, guys?
When?
February 22nd of this year. He played 31 minutes, had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists and a block with 3 turnovers. It's the last time we saw Joel Embiid on the court.
Well-
And what year are we in?
2025.
2025. Let's see.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. My bad. Yeah, it was this past February, but March, April, May.
Whole 5-6
But
months.
we don't know the whole knee situation. If he's going to be able to play. Now, if the knee situation turns out to be worse, which it sounds like, he might even come back.
I mean, we all agree that the Sixers have to pick a direction.
Yeah,
because
I
yeah.
100%
even
agree.
if it's even if they're a healthy team, which is a big if, they're not going to compete in the East, even though it's wide open.
They're a bottom feeder. I say they're like a 7th, 8th seed out east.
All right, so that was the third pick. What do you guys think about the Ace Bailey situation?
I mean, I think the media's just blowing it out of proportions. I do think there's some truth and validity with Ace Bailey not wanting to go to Utah because his preferred team was either Washington or Philadelphia.
And you hit it
In
right
Brooklyn.
there on the head.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Preference. Who said the NBA draft is a preference of who the players want? What happened to what's the best for the team?
Yeah,
With the best.
because there was a report that came out, and to your point, yes, I mean, he's only 19 years old, 18, 19, whatever age he is, but he's out here thinking he can call the shots. Yes, you obviously want to have some sort of say, I do agree with that, but at the end of the day, this is an opportunity once in a lifetime. If all of us went to the league, think about it, if we're lottery picks, do we care what team we're going to?
I don't care.
I don't care. Do you care? Looks like you care because you're quiet over here.
No, I have
Ace
some
Bailey's
thoughts.
here.
I have some thoughts.
Okay,
But go ahead.
but yes, no. My point is like you should be grateful for it. Now, maybe the media is blowing out proportions because Ace Bailey say, "Oh no, I'm excited to go to Utah." Well, you didn't look like it when you got drafted. You didn't seem excited when you got drafted by Utah. So, I think that the whole thing is starting to get out of hand a little bit, especially with the player entitlement era.
Player empowerment has its benefits and its negativity, but unfortunately, right here we have a 19-year-old
Because
trying to dictate where he wants to
He
go.
wanted to go to Washington. That was his team, with the Washington Wizards.
That says a lot.
But
Yeah.
but you know how I look at it like this is, with Ace Bailey. Yes, I agree with Draymond, and I agree with everybody here is saying about Ace Bailey trying to dictate player empowerment. I get that whole gist. With me, I look at it like this: Ace Bailey is a tough shot maker. He was one of the best players, projected to be a top number 3 pick. If we look back in 1996, Kobe Bryant was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets ended up trading. Kobe didn't want to play for Charlotte. He wanted to go to the Lakers. They already had a deal in place, and Kobe was on his way to the Lakers. And what happened with the Lakers? They won 5 rings. He helped them win 5 rings. Am I saying Ace Bailey's going to do that? Absolutely not. But what I think with this situation is that Ace Bailey, has the potential to be a star in this league.
Here's the thing. The difference is Kobe was privately doing it. He wasn't making a whole show about it. Like another example, Charles Barkley tried to gain over like 50 pounds so the 76ers wouldn't draft him. And the Sixers owner said, "We don't care how much you weigh. We're drafting you."
Steve Francis did the same thing when he was traded from Vancouver. Yeah.
Again, it's like people are doing this stuff, but it shouldn't really matter at the end of the day. It's all about opportunity in this league, and I think Ace Bailey, he probably will thrive in this league. He's going out to Utah. He could be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, and I'm going back. Just finish up my point with Ace Bailey. I think the Utah situation is a great situation for him. He's got the keys to the offense. Lauri Markkanen's potentially going to be traded. They shipped off Jordan Clark. Well, they shipped off Colin Sexton already, so he's gone.
Clarkson needs to be next.
John Collins is next.
John Collins is
Yusuf
next.
Nurkic is going out there.
Yusuf
to Utah.
Nurkic is there.
I don't get
but he's
that.
going to get bought out most likely.
I think that's
most
a buy-
likely he's
that's
going to
probably
get
a
bought
buyout.
out. So really, if I'm Ace Bailey, I look at it like, wow, this is an opportunity for me to be a number 1. I didn't get to go to the teams that I wanted, but I'm going to be the man on my team.
Well, speaking of that, his counterpart, Walter Clayton Jr. got drafted later on mid-draft. How do you guys feel about that? Walter Clayton Jr. going to the Utah Jazz. He was drafted by the Wizards. Do you guys think he's going to be a difference maker? Because I was watching him play in the championship game. This dude balled out.
It'll be like a difference maker. It won't be like cataclysmic, but he'll be able to be a solid role player.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
He'll be a solid role player, but like Ace Bailey will be probably the bigger thing.
Really? Because I feel like it could be the other way around. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is going to thrive.
It can go either way. If Ace Bailey gets his head out of his humbles himself, then he could be better.
Yeah.
I think with the Jazz, I just don't understand, the guard situation, because now you have Keontae George, now you have Isaiah Collier,
And the bigs.
Now you have the bigs. Now you drafted Ace Bailey, which you're going to keep Ace Bailey. So what do you do in that situation?
But something's
you still have Jordan Clarkson. So if I'm Utah, I'm gonna have to look at trading Jordan Clarkson, or figure out what you're gonna do with Keontae George and Isaiah Collier.
Well, there were reports coming out that they didn't want to that they were making an aggressive move for Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. So I don't know what they're doing. Maybe Yusuf Nurkic, because that trade makes 0 sense. He might get bought out, and if he doesn't, I'll be surprised if I see him next year playing in Utah. But they need to figure out that guard situation, because those 3 guards, George, Collier, Clayton Jr., Clarkson
and Bailey.
Bailey's a forward. He's a forward. He's more of a forward. Guard, whatever, you know what I mean? But, they got to figure something out. So somebody's got to go. So the next person up has got to be Clarkson. They got to start making some deals and making some moves.
All right. One more thing before we move on to the next topic. What the hell is New Orleans doing? They traded 10 picks up to get Derek Queen, and they traded a unprotected
first pick. Yeah,
first round pick for next year's draft to the Atlanta Hawks. What sense did
Ooh,
this
that's some
make?
armor right there. But I like the Derek Queen pick. You know,
I'm not saying nothing's
Yeah.
about Derek Queen, but who moves up 10 spots and gives up an unprotected first round pick when their past few years of have they been successful?
They've been mediocre.
No.
And they could possibly get another top 5 pick
Hey,
out
man.
of this.
Hey man, I mean they got Kristaps Porzingis. I mean
that's just bad. Why would you make that trade?
I understand you want that player, but
Right.
they probably saw something in that player.
They
you know?
saw
They've seen
something
something-
enough to give up a unprotected first round pick.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Picks talk. You know, they probably saw something. Who did the Hawks end up taking with when they fell back? Because they traded up, right? They moved 10 picks up.
they got Drake Powell.
Drake Powell,
Oh no, Asa Newell.
Asa Newell. I mean, that's not a bad pick. Asa Newell, you know, out of Georgia, that's a good pick. You know, he's a really good defender. I think he'll pair up well with Dyson Daniels out there in Atlanta. But an unprotected first round pick.
Let's be honest. Is New Orleans going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference? Which
No.
If you're New Orleans, you need to be
No.
keeping every first round pick you get. That's the bottom line.
I think they need to start rebuilding, and they need to start. You know, now we're going off on tangent, but what needs to happen, which I wouldn't be surprised, you gotta get rid of Zion, and you gotta get rid of because you already got rid of Brandon Ingram. You gotta get rid of and McCollum, which is a good start, but now you gotta get rid of Zion because he hasn't contributed anything to the franchise. He doesn't want to be in New Orleans, so I don't know. I can't justify that, but you know, unprotected picks. That's kind of funny. Speaking of picks, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I saw a report that the Raptors, you know how obviously the Celtics have been involved a lot with Jaylen Brown and Derek White, and they won't trade them for like, you know, just anything. The Raptors just want to give him the 9th pick for Derek White. How do you guys feel about that? That was almost laughable. There was a report the Celtics just laughed at them and said, nope.
I mean, Jaylen Brown's hurt. That's a fair offer at this point.
No, for
If
Derek
we're
White.
being-
For Derek White. 9th pick for Derek White.
I mean, I think that's a decent trade.
But I mean, like, the thing is like, obviously.
I wouldn't make that trade. That's
No,
just
because
bad.
the thing is like, you know, they want something more of like a Mikal Bridges type of deal situation.
No one's giving up 5 first round picks
nope.
again.
Nope.
for an All NBA defender, and a sub prime All Star and Derek White. Hey man,
It just depends on the situation. Anyways, let's move on to the next subject. Bobby, do you have a list of the transactions that have happened this week so far? Because there's been a lot.
LeBron James exercises $52.6
Okay,
million
we're gonna come
player
back
option.
to that later.
James Harden declined his $36.3 million options and signed with the Clippers for 2 years, $81 million with the player option.
Let's stop right there. We'll just give our quick take. That's a great signing for the Clippers. They have
Yep.
roster flexibility. They can get a few more picks, get more offense in there. Resign some of the free agents. I think that's an
That's
underrated
awesome.
move right there
That's-
by
that's
James
really
Harden,
good.
who has pretty much changed his reputation ever since he got traded.
he humbled himself a lot
Yeah,
when
he
he
really
when he went
did.
to the Clippers, man. And now we're seeing Houston James Harden. We're seeing Houston James Harden.
Now we just need him to show up in Game 7 in playoffs. But that's a
Yep.
solid move for the Clippers, who will have a lot of flexibility in order to
Solid.
add some people.
Clippers going to be a top 5 team next year.
They might.
They might at this point if
They
Kawhi
might,
stays healthy.
you know, if Kawhi
Kyrie-
stays healthy, they keep Norman Powell. If Vita Zubac continue playing at what he plays,
Kyrie Irving got a 3-year, $119 million contract. Brett
That-
Van Fleet, 2-year, $50 million.
Hold on, let's go back to the Kyrie. That's a fair contract. It's a little less than what he signed last for his contract because he's going to be out pretty much the first year. Decent value, doesn't really hurt it, but we have some flexibility along with Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis. We'll be in playing territory, maybe like middle of the pack.
are you talking
Possibly.
about the Mavericks?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mavericks are middle of the pack team out west.
Unless everything clicks somehow.
I personally think the Kyrie 3-year, $119 million, I think that's a bit of an overpay, especially at Kyrie's age and now this injury. I think it's going to...
I mean, when you trade Luka away and you have nothing else left,
But it's still an overpay. That's the bottom line. You don't get...
I mean, it's a
personally-
fair deal in my opinion. What'd you say, Fred Van Vliet for?
Fred Van Vliet got 2-year, $50 million contract with a
Solid.
player option.
That's
That's a solid.
Solid
His last
contract.
contract was the Rockets have reloaded. They kept their free agents. They're going to be working on contract extension with Kevin Durant. They've really filled out the roster. Steven Adams. They still kept Jabari Smith.
And they re-signed Jabari Smith Jr. to a 5-year, $125 million contract.
Very, very questionable because he's been injured. He's been inconsistent. He hasn't really
Yeah.
fit with Udoka's
but
system.
he could be a trade chip. He could be a trade chip. I think some of these signings, when we really kind of look behind the scenes, they're going to be trade chips. That's going to be a trade chip
Let
piece
me
right
see
there.
his averages. That way we could see if he's like.
Go else. What else we talking about?
Hold on, real quick. Sorry, before he moves on. Let's see his stats. Nothing really jumps out. He went from 12 points his rookie year, 13 points, went back down to 12. He's improved as a 3-point shooter. He went down in his rebounds. He's been around to the assist. Free throw, he's decent, but he hasn't really shown any development. He's been consistent for he was the number 3 pick, right?
Yeah, he's just steady. He's steady.
Pick number 3 in 2022. So we'll see. Maybe he can contribute. Maybe Udoka finally found something for him. But we'll see, because his last game wasn't really pretty.
Nas Reed got a 5-year, $125 million contract.
What? How?
When you talk about Nas Reed, 5-year, $125 million. You gonna pay 5 years, $125 million?
Isaac, what's your justification on the 5-year,
Yeah,
$125 million?
Come on.
I mean, he was making $50 million, just an extra $10 million. That's not terrible.
But for
overall.
$125 million,
yeah.
5 years,
Yeah.
I don't think he's worth that much.
Nas Reed is efficient off the bench, man.
He's efficient.
That
I think
type
he's an $80 million player.
That type of contract is the type of contract you give to somebody who you're betting is going to be that superstar player, that it. 5-year, $125 million
as a sixth man.
As a sixth man,
Hey.
that's like giving Rudy. That's like when the Jazz or the T Wolves gave Rudy Gobert a 5-year, $90 million contract.
But it's also when Gordon Hayward blew out his leg and he signed that 5-year, $100-some million, then he got relegated to the bench. That makes no sense
To me,
Go ahead.
Nas Reed has gone from 9 points to 12 points to 14 points to 15 points on great efficiency. He shot his second best career 3-point, and he's a decent free throw shooter.
That's
He
your guy,
brings the
huh, is it?
defense. He's just an integral part for the Timberwolves, because if not,
For the
who else?
Wolves.
no, that's
For
your
the
guy,
Wolves.
man.
Let me be honest. He would fit on any team.
He would. I think
Okay,
he
so
would.
he's a plug and play. Who else was going to
He
pay him?
would.
You guys would be dying to have a big man.
But for not $125 million.
I bet you would pay Miles
honestly,
Turner, wouldn't you?
No, hell no.
not Miles Turner.
But they're gonna pay Austin Reeves $200 and some next summer.
Hell no.
Yeah,
5-year,
man.
$125 million per play, $1 million per year. That's an overpay for me.
I think that's perfect for Nas Reed.
All right, so is this fair? 3-year, $100 million for Julius Randle?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how
it
is
is.
so how is
justifiable?
So how is Nas Reed justified to get $125 million, but Julius Randle gets $100 million
the
players?
playoffs, who was more effective against the Thunder? Somewhat. Who's actually more playable against a switch heavy Thunder team?
Nas Reed.
Nas Reed. Julius Randle, he gets tunnel vision. Yes, he's a good 3-point shooter, but he chucks up too many shots. And if his shot's not falling, what else can he do?
But you guys also were the same people who bashed him about his playoff performance, and he played really good in the playoffs. So why is a sixth man getting 125 over a proven starter in this league?
Proven.
Julius Randle's
proven. Well, I don't know about that.
Come on,
I don't know if he's proven.
Go ahead, Betty. Go ahead,
He's
Betty.
like
What are you
he's
gonna say?
But-
he's just inconsistent. That's my only thing. He's
no,
inconsistent.
I get that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
But 3 years, $100 million. He's an all-star player. Nas Reed is not an all-star player. How are you gonna give a non-all-star player $125 million? Makes no sense.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Nas Reed would be better than Julius Randle if he had the opportunity to start. That's how I would say it. Nas Reed just slides in better. He's a better defender, a little bit more efficient on the offensive end.
I agree.
He's more switchable on the defensive
I
end.
agree with those last 2 points. I just don't.
But if you need a bucket, obviously I'm gonna go with Julius Randle.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't think Nas Reed gets that consistency. Like, if you're going to say, oh, yeah, well, he doesn't play. Yeah, I need to see more consistency from him in order for me to be able to say, okay, I justify that $125 million contract.
If he was on his own team, I would agree. I think he's going to ball out.
And I think
so.
And
I
the
would
Julius
agree.
Randle contract, though, 3-year, $100 million.
That's perfect.
It's not terrible.
It's justifiable.
It's a decent trade chip.
I would have said, yeah, it's a trade chip contract.
It's about what, 32, 33 million? No, 30,
32,
34,
matching salaries.
34.50 million probably.
Get 216, yeah, about. But yeah, 3 year. I would have personally give Julius Randle maybe a 3-year, $90 million. That's just me. But you know,
$100 million is good.
$100 million is
I
good.
think he's
I mean,
justifiable.
what's next on the?
Yeah, that's an overpay for Nas Reed. Davion Mitchell
Gotta
got 2
agree.
years, $24 million with the Miami
We
Heat.
don't need to worry about all these little
Bobby
mini
Portis,
We're
bro.
still
No,
gonna
come on.
react.
Bobby
We're still gonna
Portis.
react.
I'm
We
just
gotta be
saying,
fair.
man.
Davion Mitchell.
That's
Davion Mitchell,
2 year, $24 million.
decent. Heat haven't gotten anything, so it's thank God
The
they
Heat
got
need
someone.
something.
Are
to-
the Heat relevant? Answer my question. Are they relevant?
Okay.
Are they
Did
relevant?
you hear what I
Are
said?
they-
We get it. We
We're
get it.
just
I
reacting
100%
to
okay.
signings. We're
Okay.
not saying if they're relevant. Why don't
Okay.
you pay attention to the question first before you react?
He's
That's
triggered.
all I
He's
said.
triggered.
Okay,
He's
continue,
triggered.
Bobby. You
He's
said
triggered.
Davion Mitchell and you before Durag.
Bobby Portis got a 3 year, $45 million contract with the Bucks.
Absolutely an overpay. That's an overpay. But the Bucks need something at this point.
The Bucks are going to really use Bobby Portis as a trade piece.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's the trade
He's
piece
kind of
right
fallen
there.
off these past few years, unfortunately. He does score, but inconsistently. His defense is kind of gone, but the Bucks need something. What's next?
Yeah, and the Blazers bought out DeAndre Ayton.
That'll be interesting. Lakers in the market for a big man?
That's what I'm saying. I was telling Benny before you came, Isaac. I said DeAndre Ayton just got bought out by the Blazers. Lakers don't have any solid trade pieces that they could trade for DeAndre Ayton.
Say that one more time.
The Lakers don't have any solid trade pieces they could trade.
And that segues into LeBron James opting into his contract. And Rich Paul stating, "Oh, we're not sure about the Lakers' timeline." Are you kidding me?
Yeah, y'all know.
You
Y'all already
trade
know.
for
Y'all
Luka
already know.
Doncic, a top 5 player in the NBA, and LeBron is opting in saying,
LeBron,
I'm
retire.
not sure about this Lakers roster. Well, what do you think? Last season, you were going to take a pay cut for Klay Thompson. Jonas Valanciunas. But you won't take a pay cut when you have an all-star proven point guard, Luka Doncic, who needs a team around him. Shouldn't he be the veteran, stepping down, letting Luka kind of take over? Bobby, what's your take as a Laker fan thinking about this?
I think LeBron needs to retire. He's really holding back the Lakers.
That's what I said.
He's really holding back the Lakers. I think the Lakers right now in great hands with Luka Doncic, and you keep Austin Reeves, and then you potentially sign.
You gotta figure that out.
Are you paying him 200 and some
They're
million?
not going to pay him $200-something million, but he's going to get at least he's going to probably get a decent contract.
What's your
decent?
decent?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
Decent to me would be 85 to $90 million.
That's what they offered him. He rejected that.
Yeah, they said
You're-
4-year, $94 million. What
Are
was
you
different?
paying attention?
I was paying attention.
That was like
You
what
asked
they
what was
offered
decent.
me.
That's decent for me.
So, but there's only one reason why you would reject that, because you want something more. That's one
I
reason.
get it.
So what is the max you're willing to give him?
yeah.
The max I'd be willing to give him would be $110 million.
Oh, hell no. He's not going to sign for that.
No, he's not that. He's not worth that much. I'm sorry. For a
But
guy who's
see,
not consistent in the playoffs,
I get it.
Come on,
I
man.
get it. But this is what's going to happen. If you trade Austin Reeves right now, who are the Lakers going to get back in return?
You get a lot of
You can get a
pieces
lot.
back. Come on.
Because look at this. It's Luka Doncic's team. When LeBron retires, who's the Lakers' number 2 option? Who?
Well, they got to figure that out, because
That's what I'm saying.
Are you going to pay Austin Reeves $100-some million?
Trade him to Detroit. Get Jaden
Yeah,
Ivey.
get some picks.
Get
yeah.
Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, that actually wouldn't be a bad solution either way.
Why are you looking at like
I don't
Jaden
know.
Ivey?
I don't know.
He's better on the defensive end.
Yeah, but is he a consistent playoff performer?
Oh my God,
He was hurt.
He was hurt.
Where were you?
He broke his leg.
Where were you, bro?
I know.
Give the man a chance.
And plus, he's been it's unfair. He's been floated in trade talks, which is not fair for him.
And he's been the victim of not being played by various coaches.
Yeah, Monty Williams not playing him. I get
mean,
that.
what? And you guys still have to re-sign Dorian Finney-Smith, which I don't know how you
No,
guys
that's
are
not
going
going
to
to
do
happen.
that.
I think he's going to. I think he's walking. I think he's walking.
And you guys still have to re-sign Luka Doncic, but here's a
Priority,
little bit
decisions,
LeBron.
decisions.
priority, priority number 1 is sign Luka Doncic. Priority number 2, sign Dorian Finney-Smith.
No, I would say center's priority number 2.
But you know what I would do? You know what should happen? LeBron needs to retire. I'm sorry. He's done tremendous wonders for this league, but you're holding up the Lakers.
Yeah, I know.
You're holding them up.
I know.
$52 million.
I know, but the Lakers really do. To Isaac's point, they do need to get a big. I just
Yeah.
think right now they need to prioritize. Now that DeAndre Ayton's out there, you can get him for the mid-level exception. You probably could.
Here's the thing.
You could.
He's not known for his defense. You guys need a defense.
Yeah, but the Lakers also need a big who can stretch the floor out, who's a lob
You know,
threat.
DeAndre Ayton hasn't had the best reputation. He hasn't
get
been
it.
the best locker room leader. So I don't think that's what you. And no offense, Luka was my favorite player, but he has his attitude issues as well. So mix that with DeAndre Ayton. Would that work? That's the thing.
So I mean, just locker room troubles, leadership issues.
You guys have been connected to Brooke Lopez or Clint Capella. I personally would
Somebody
spend
with a
that money
Brook
on
Lopez.
Clint Capella.
Somebody like a Brook Lopez. I mean, yeah, he's aging, but like,
Here's the thing: I saw him on the Bucks. He can't really stay. He can't really keep up anymore. I
yeah,
wouldn't
but
even
that
like.
comes with age, bro. But I think if you get someone like a Brook Lopez who can stretch out the floor, that's what the Lakers really needed.
The Lakers,
Because
the Lakers just need somebody who's a lob threat and who can
Brook
create their
Lopez
own
is
offense.
a lob threat. He can still get up.
Brook Lopez?
He can still get up.
What the fuck are you
Vertically challenged Brooke Lopez,
I'm
who's
not saying-
never averaged double-digit rebounds.
But I'm not gonna
Wow.
say. But I'm not gonna say he's gonna.
Wow.
I'm not saying he's
All
gonna.
right, I'm
sit
gonna
here-
look up
He's a
right
lob
now.
threat.
Brooke Lopez lobs, and I
I'm
bet
saying-
you I'm gonna hit about 0.
All I'm saying is like he's not gonna be throwing out lobs all the time, but he's someone good in the pick and pop. You know, someone who can stretch the floor, hit
So
the
is
three ball.
so is DeAndre Ayton.
But can he shoot the three ball?
Not consistently.
And there's your answer. Can Clint Capella shoot the three ball? Yes, he's a lob threat. I'm gonna give him that. Unless you're catering to Luka style, fine, get Clint Capella. But if you need stretch shooting, I'd go for Brook Lopez.
that's my point. That's why I'm saying yes. I understand what DeAndre Ayton is. We know his history in Phoenix. We know how he was in Portland. But the Lakers need a big who can stretch the floor for Luka.
Brook Lopez. I've been saying
DeAndre Ayton.
The rumor is that the Lakers are desperate for a center, but the league doesn't want to help them.
Because I know everybody's like trolling the Lakers at this point because they know the Lakers are starving for a center and they're just seeing what the Lakers will give up.
Hence, that's why DeAndre Ayton got bought out.
That doesn't mean he. That's
Yusuf Nurkic got bought out. But I
Don't
wouldn't
you
want
dare
Nurkic.
Mention Nurkic in this conversation. Stop. Just stop.
I got a
Stop.
heart attack, bro. He had a heart attack,
No.
bro. He had a
Stop.
heart attack. It's like talking about the
just-
Phoenix Suns, bro.
Okay,
It's like
we
talking
need
about
to
the
stop.
Phoenix Suns.
We
Talking
need
about
to
the
stop
Phoenix
that.
Suns, bro. Phoenix Suns in the mix.
The bottom line is, I think DeAndre Ayton would be a great fit for the Lakers.
Let's go back to Phoenix.
No, come to the Lakers. We'll give you that mid-level exception, and we'll make it
You're
work.
giving him the mid-level exception?
Yeah,
I'm giving him the minimum, man. He got to prove something to me.
I give him the mid-level.
You're crazy, man.
I give him the mid-level.
You need more role players and more offensive player, and you're gonna waste it on that guy?
Dorian
DeAndre Ayton.
Finney-Smith is walking. We already know it. We already know he's walking. You got to figure out Austin Reeves and get a damn center. I'm in favor of Brook Lopez. You want Clint Capella or DeAndre Ayton? Hey,
I'd
so
go with
be
Brooke
it.
Lopez, Clint Capella, or a combination of the two.
Yeah, I mean,
Just don't
or
ever
somebody like a Luke Cornett.
mention
Someone like Luke
Nurkic
Cornett
again,
because
please.
Cornett's cheap.
Not Cornette. No,
What do you mean?
You should not see 7 blocks.
no.
Dog, you
No.
can even hit up Houston. Go for Jock Londell. Someone, man. Someone to grab
and
you a
when you talk
board.
about lob threat, the dude's a lob threat. I'm just
Now
saying.
that's a lob threat.
I'm just saying.
That's
7
a
block.
lob threat.
7 blocks. 7 blocks against New York. That's all I'm saying.
More blocks than all the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the Lakers didn't even have in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, as much as I love Luke Cornett, I mean, something's got to happen.
Maybe an Al Horford.
No.
Yeah.
I think
What's wrong with Al Horford?
He's too old, bro. Just being honest.
You want to sign Brooke Lopez over here.
I didn't say sign Brook Lopez. What did I say? Sign Brook
You
Lopez.
mentioned Brooke Lopez. Did he not?
I don't think he mentioned it.
I
but-
didn't bring up Brook
But he talked
Lopez.
about DeAndre Ayton, which is still questionable to me.
DeAndre
I'd
Ayton.
rather take Horford over DeAndre Ayton, man.
I take DeAndre Ayton all day of the
Dude,
week.
Horford will at least try it. Ayton, if he pouts, he doesn't get his shot up, he doesn't get the rebound.
Hey, if Horford went to the Lakers, I mean, I'd be
he's
kind of
going.
pissed.
He's going to a system where I think JJ Redick's going to be able to hold himself accountable, hold DeAndre Ayton accountable. So, I trust that the Lakers are going to do something with DeAndre
And
Ayton.
if he doesn't have JJ Redick's trust, are we going to see the same 5 starters for the complete 4 quarters with no center and a small ball center?
Yeah, remember, you guys literally made Rudy Gobert look like a all NBA center.
You made him look like Shaq.
He was out here getting 20 boards. What the fuck? Rudy Gobert. Why did you play just Jackson Hayes or somebody, bro? But hold up. Maxi Kleber was this option to solve it. Maxi Kleber was your guys' big on the floor at the time. Come on, man. Seriously. Get some fucking help. Whoever the Lakers get, fine. But like I said, get some stretch shooting, or you can go for somebody like DeAndre Ayton, sign for a mid-level, see what he proves. Then you can sign him to a long contract. But get a damn big. And LeBron needs to retire.
I think DeAndre Ayton just fits the Lakers' timeline.
Yeah, he's young, but
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
young.
I'm just saying.
Really
Fits with
quick,
Ayton.
we forgot Lonzo Ball traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What do we think of that?
Garland's
For Isaac
out.
Okoro.
Garland's out.
I don't think he's out. He's just hurt, but like it.
Well,
regular season
I
team.
think Darius Garland's getting traded.
But so you have Lonzo Ball, you keep Darius Garland, you keep so who's the 1 and 2? Who's coming off the bench?
Lonzo.
No,
I doubt it.
No.
I thought you want to start. You want to bench Lonzo.
No, I think what's going to happen is Darius Garland's going to get traded somewhere.
Did you
He's
guys
gonna be
hear
gone.
that the Cleveland Cavaliers offered Darius Garland for Kevin Durant, and the Phoenix Suns said no?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard,
yeah,
bro. How
would
the hell
you
you
say-
say no?
Why would you say no?
Have you, first of all, this is off top, but have you guys seen the Phoenix Suns roster?
Centers, get them one, get them all. I see a lot of centers over here.
I
We
see
got Nick
literally-
Richards. We got
Common Maluch.
Mark Williams.
Common Maluch.
Literally, look at this.
By the way, best reaction of the night. That guy does deserve it. Unlike Ace Bailey.
He's
Devin
hella good.
Booker, Dylan Brooks, Bradley Beal, Jalen Green, Grayson Allen,
Hey man,
and then crickets.
If you need a guard,
and then Mark
over
Williams,
there.
Nick Richards,
Royce O'Neal.
Royce O'Neal.
had the Phoenix Suns hired a coach yet?
Yeah, Jordan
it was
Ott.
an assistant.
Jordan
Uh,
Ott.
Okay.
Devin Booker had a lot of input for this coach.
But I don't.
I mean,
Phoenix really needed to.
There's word that Chris Paul might go back to Phoenix. Chris Paul's another free agent to look out, but rumor has it that he wants to stay closer to LA,
yeah.
which you guys should pounce on. But you guys don't have money because LeBron opted in. But he doesn't want to. But he wants to win a title. But he wants his money.
But the Lakers ain't gonna win next year. Lakers ain't gonna win.
Well, who knows? They might pull another Luka Doncic and trade Cooper Flag for him for a box of pennies at this point.
Yeah, man.
Never know.
Yeah, I mean,
Never know.
It's
Going back to that Cleveland deal, I think that it's a win for the.
They need to get rid
Win
of
for the-
Jared Allen. That's
for
what they
the-
need
win
to
for
get
the
rid of.
Cavs.
yeah. Get rid of Jared
Yeah.
Allen.
He obviously the lights are too bright for him, unfortunately, and he needs a team where there's more veterans right there. So I think he needs to get out, and they need like trade for a Nekwa Kongu, please. This man cannot start in Atlanta. He's had those starting spots so many times, and then they trade for Kristaps Porzingis.
I know. They
Come
trade
on,
for
man,
KP.
let
It
him
makes no
start.
sense. It makes zero
Hashtag
sense.
save Okongwu.
We need to start that hashtag save Ngankwu. Save Onyeka Ngankwu. We forgot about that trade.
It's the direct talking.
But real quick. How do we feel about that 3-team trade?
For what?
KP going to the Hawks. Obviously,
For a bag of chips?
Yeah,
It makes-
it's
it makes
basically
zero
It's
sense.
basically a bag of chips.
Zero
Because,
sense.
like I said, the Celtics know you're not. We already knew Kristaps had no value because he practically played like garbage in the playoffs.
I mean, it's a
So-
short term. It's a short term.
It's a rental.
Terrible move, but long term, it's a really good move. It saves up a lot of cash for you guys.
Exactly.
And then Anthony Simons, decent pick. You
Drew
guys could
Holiday,
flip him
yeah,
for
for Drew
another
Holiday.
draft pick as well.
But at this point, man, it's like, do I really want to trade Anthony Simons? Maybe if the right offer comes up, but no, because like we don't have. There's nobody else who's
I
going to
mean,
be
there are a few teams that need guards, so I would see maybe
the Lakers,
Toronto.
Toronto.
We didn't talk about Toronto. You Simon Hughes is out. I probably said that wrong.
Yeah, he said
So-
he's out.
They did a draft without their GM, but like he had just resigned Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly.
The man is good. He's good at what
but
he
you
does.
decide to let him go.
Because he was in the last year of his contract or something like that. That's
yeah,
what I
and
read.
they just let him go. But
Man.
like, it'll be interesting for Toronto where they go because it'll just be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, it is. You know,
Where they playoff bound, they do have the pieces. They have draft picks.
Also, too, we were talking about Anthony Simons. Speaking of Drew Holiday in Portland, I heard he was pissed about going to Portland.
Heck, I'd be pissed if I got traded to Blazers, went to a championship contender, and then got traded back to the Blazers.
There's a chance he might as well just get bought out too, because the Blazers. I read an article. The Blazers want to keep him.
For what?
Yeah, for what reason? What's the reason?
0 cents.
Yeah, just buy him out, trade him, or flip him. Then get some more pieces back. Because the Blazers were either, when they traded Simons, it was either commit between Scoot Henderson and Shane Sharp, which is a great duo. You know what I mean? Especially like back Scoot Henderson, but trade Anthony Simons because they weren't going to pay him money, dude. Like, let's keep it real. You're not paying that much money, so somebody had to go. But hey, this is if you're Anthony Simons or who you're Boston, you keep him. This is a prove-it year for him at this point.
I mean, okay, before we wrap up this episode, looking at the West and the East, who are the biggest threats for the OKC Thunder in the West?
In the West?
Honest.
Houston, Minnesota.
Houston,
Dark horse,
Minnesota.
Denver.
They need pieces. I would have to say Minnesota or Houston. Maybe Golden State if they figure out the Jonathan Kuminga thing.
No,
Maybe
that's a crime. That's a crime.
No,
Maybe.
That's a crime, dude.
Um,
Just let the man go, please. Let him go. It's the same thing with Ngakwe. Free Kuminga. God.
East, that's up for grabs. I personally want to say Halliburton's out for the year, obviously.
Tatum's out for that. Number one for me is New York.
New York. But
York
they
is number
need
one.
to do some serious bench searching. They need to find a bench.
New York.
I need to find a damn coach.
If I'm New York, I'm going all in this free agency. You know that the East is up for grabs. You're the best team out there. Tyrese is out. Jason is out. What are you gonna do?
Hey,
Bolster
Tim
that
Hardaway
bench.
Jr. is a free agent.
Yeah.
Mo Wagner's a free agent. I'm just saying.
Reunite
something.
him in New York.
That's
Something.
never worked out and won't work out like the third time.
But he'll fit well in New York because he's more of a six man if anything. But to me, the cream of the crop out East right now is New York. Second team, I would say, is Orlando. Third team,
Really quick. Orlando. A lot of people were like saying that Orlando won this trade. Whatever they needed these past few years.
point guards.
Unprotected picks.
What have they needed this last
Point
few
guard.
years?
Point guard.
Say that again.
Picks.
Say that louder for the viewers.
Guard.
Can you repeat what he said?
Point guards.
What does a point guard do?
Take the
Brings the
ball.
team together.
Take the ball down the course.
Paolo
of the offense,
Banchero
yeah.
has said, I don't want to be point guard. It's hard. I want someone to set up. We'll get you Desmond Bain. He can shoot. Yes, offense have been a problem, but you need a point guard to connect everything.
And that's why Tyus Jones is free right now.
Someone like him would be
Tyus
good.
Jones would be a great fit.
But let's be honest, Magic, a big three of Franz, Paolo, and Desmond Bain, that's your big three?
out east, I mean, you're the best, practically the best team
gettable.
out
But
east.
against the West?
Out west,
Out
no.
west, no,
But
no.
out east, it's like the really the only realistic team, in my opinion, that out east that can compete with the OKC Thunder are the New York Knicks. Outside of that, no other team.
It's a toss-up. Yeah.
No other team.
Is OKC a dynasty incoming? Will they take pay
Yes.
cuts to stay together?
Ooh.
I think they're a dynasty incoming. I don't know if they'll take pay cuts.
Damn, dude.
Chet
Especially with the
Holmgren or
CBA.
Jalen Williams?
This CBA is going to
Jalen
screw
Williams.
it. Ooh,
Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams. This CBA is going to be... This second name is a bitch.
We could, but Jalen Brunson took a pay cut, so the OKC Thunder could take that step. They've been re-signing some of their agents. They re-signed Jalen Williams and a bunch of other...
AJ Mitchell.
I mean, it could be possible, but it would be very, very, very interesting to see.
Yeah, man. That second apron sucks.
And Hartenstein, let's be honest, he's probably going to be on this is going to be his last year in OKC.
yeah, he's going to get a contract somewhere.
Yeah, but we'll see. Do we have any other thoughts, guys?
Nope, nothing comes to mind for me.
All right.
man. It's interesting
Take
times.
us out. Durag Benny, Danny.
Durag Benny, not Denny. Anyway, continue to follow us, like, subscribe, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify. We are on all platforms. Continue to show the love. We'll be dropping episodes this Wednesday. Sorry for a little temporary delay last week with the audio. We have gotten that solved. We will be seeing you guys this upcoming Wednesday. Stay following us and continue to subscribe to our content.
Might drop it Monday. You never know.
Yeah, it might come out tomorrow. With that said, ladies
Shout
and
out to all
gentlemen,
the support.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out for all those who continue to support us for our day ones. We appreciate it.
Yep, and continue to show us to your friend. We appreciate the love. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your night.